Welcome back to the ACB Wrestling Talk channel, your main source for wrestling news and wrestling discussions. I'm, of course, your host, Alexis Carrillo, and let's get into some wrestling talk. The day has finally arrived. The day all of us wrestling fans have been waiting for is finally here. The Wednesday Night Wars have officially commenced, and both NXT and AEW pulled out all the stops. When I'm talking all the stops, they put on some fantastic wrestling shows and some surprises along the way and some returns included in these shows. So on TNT we had Dynamite, the debut episode of Dynamite for All Elite Wrestling on TNT, and on the USA Network we had NXT's third episode on the USA Network. But first, full 2-hour broadcast on that network. So obviously they were going to pull out all of the stops. So let's just go into what happened in AEW. Put on one fantastic opening video package to hype up the upcoming match, to hype up AEW, and then Cody came out and made history as he defeated a very talented upstart in Sammy Guevara in the very first match in AEW Dynamite on TNT history. So obviously Cody entering into the history books, and then just a little bit after that, AEW World Champion Chris Jericho, Y2J himself, made an appearance, delivered a code breaker to Cody, as, they have to build to their November 9th pay-per-view match at Full Gear for the AEW World Championship. So, they've got to start building and hyping that pay-per-view up. And just as much, it was a damn good match to start this era with. And speaking about upstarts, again, what can be said about a guy like MJF? The guy reeks charisma. The guy reeks as one of the best talents, up-and-coming talents in professional wrestling today. He was born to be a star, and he definitely acts like it on camera, maybe even sometimes off camera. So, if AEW were to put MJF's or were to put their future on MJF, I think they might be okay doing that. Then we saw what appeared to be pretty much strange at the All Out pay-per-view a few weeks ago when Pac defeated Kenny Omega. But apparently they're really pushing Pac as this undeniable bastard of a character who just doesn't hold back. And he defeated the former number one contender to the World Championship, Adam Hangman Page. And quite a defeat he got over Hangman. Simply put, the referee had to stop the match because Pac was just delivering too much damage to Hangman Page. So we'll just have to wait and see where they go with Pac and this character. It's definitely intriguing, being that, in a normal essence, his size, his stature, the way he kind of looks, you wouldn't take him to be this dominant kind of character. AEW is trying to build him up a different way. We got the first AEW Women's World Champion crowned when Rio defeated Nyla Rose in a match that definitely showcased the women's division for AEW, or what's to come for the AEW women's division in the next coming weeks, in the next coming months, and possibly in the next coming years. If I may be mistaken about this, but I don't think Rio speaks English. Again, I may be wrong about that. I'm going to have to confirm that later. But as far as I'm concerned, this is just a statement that possibly, AEW is going to go more towards, if you're talented enough in that ring, you will be rewarded. And you don't have to be the complete package to be the face of a division. So we'll just have to wait and see where they go with that women's division. And we had the main event. Of course, this past Tuesday night, it was announced that Y2J's partners for this 6-man main event, the first ever main event for Dynamite, Y2J's partners were going to be the men and the tag team formerly known as LAX. I believe they still go by Ortiz and Santana on AEW. LAX is a Impact Wrestling gimmick that stayed in Impact. I didn't catch the new name that they were given, but let's just wait and see where they go with that. Obviously, Y2J and LAX defeated Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks in a good main event, which, if you ask any normal wrestling fan, would say, the ending of the main event was definitely overbooked. But considering the surprises and who made an appearance at the end of the main event, it was a satisfying conclusion and definitely set off Dynamite for this brand new show on TNT. So, all things said, they accomplished what they did. They got people talking. Not only did Jon Moxley return, thank goodness, because again, he wasn't able to make it to All Out and compete against Kenny Omega due to a previous injury. Glad he's back. Hopefully he's back at 100%, and most likely he's going to get his rematch against Kenny Omega at Full Gear on November 9th. But now, Jon Moxley is a familiar face for those casual fans, and you got that kind of name value to bring up the audience to AEW Dynamite. And not only that, they also brought in a former WWE superstar, former world champion in WWE, the man formerly known as Jack Swagger, now known as Jake Hager, with a much more MMA-based style of wrestling. At least that's what I saw from him on the few episodes that I watched during his run on Lucha Underground. So AEW adding more and more talent. Again, a few ex-WWE names that are definitely going to bring recognition to the AEW brand. But talent is talent no matter where it comes from. And AEW did what they should have done, and they made a memorable Dynamite debut on TNT. Now, let's go to their rivals, because their rivals did not hold anything back. NXT debuted on the USA Network for the first time with a 2-hour broadcast. The past 2 weeks have been just a 1-hour broadcast on the USA Network. But again, they weren't going to, be shown up by AEW and the first match between Cody and Sammy Guevara. So they delivered with an NXT title match where Adam Cole, baby, retained his NXT championship against Matt Riddle in a show-stopping, hard-hitting bout. But, with that being said, what most people are talking about is that NXT got a returning big name back to its roster, and we've talked about it here in the past. If NXT wants to compete with AEW in terms of the ratings, in terms of the viewership, they're going to have to keep some of their bigger stars. They're going to have to bring in some bigger stars to be able to keep that recognition, that star power to compete with AEW. And that's exactly what they did when Finn Balor, last seen on Raw, being taken out by the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, made an appearance, a surprise appearance on NXT, and declared that Finn Balor is NXT, so that, at least to me, and this is just me being hopeful, that at least to me confirms that Finn Balor is now a full part of the NXT roster. Psyched about that. But if you were, excited about a possible Adam Cole versus Finn Balor match in the future, just wait until what they delivered in the main event, after the main event actually, when Tommaso Ciampa made his return after what had been months and months of that injury that forced him to relinquish the NXT Championship. So again, the main event scene for NXT, getting a little bit more crowded, getting a little bit more exciting. Again, this Wednesday Night War starts off hot. We'll just have to wait and see what continues to go down for, this entire war, this entire competition. It couldn't be a better moment for wrestling fans. Simply put, competition makes every single competitor better. You put on better shows. It's better for the wrestling fans, and that's all we can ask for. Better options, better entertainment, that's what Dynamite and NXT, AEW and NXT are determined from these two premiere episodes to deliver to wrestling fans worldwide. So obviously that's exciting as hell to me. Coupled with the fact that, NXT also made it, public knowledge that, 205 Live's roster is going to be a part of NXT. They announced the future Cruiserweight title match on NXT. They had Shayna Baszler retain her NXT Women's Championship against Candice LeRae. Again, comparing women's division to women's division, I believe NXT's women's division is still a little bit higher on the totem pole. But again, AEW is just beginning their journey in terms of building up a roster. For the first time, they're going to have to build up week to week to week. So we'll just have to wait and see what kind of results they get. And again, one last thing, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of viewership comes up tomorrow, as a comparison between NXT and AEW, and how much did Dynamite affect NXT's viewership on the USA Network. We'll just have to wait and see and find out until tomorrow. So anyway, those are my thoughts on this entire debut for NXT and AEW. The Wednesday Night Wars are here. Sorry. God. Sorry. The Wednesday Night Wars are here. And again, this is, just want to apologize for that noise. Again, this is not a live show, but being that I don't have the media or the tools to edit this properly as I should, unfortunately, you have to put up with that for now. But what do you think about Dynamite's debut? What did you think about NXT? Did you have two monitors, just see what was going on each show? Were you clicking back and forth between TNT and the USA Network? Leave your thoughts, comments, and predictions on the future of these Wednesday Night Wars in the comments section below. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you dislike this video, hit the dislike button. That's it for me. Till next time.